And thank you for joining us once again this fine and wonderful December. Look at that. December 12th already. Almost finished with the year. Have, about 3 weeks left, or I suppose. Something along those lines, right? My math. 12 days, right? 24. All right, about 3 weeks left. My math is not up to par right about now, I suppose. But I am so grateful to see you all here with us once again for our bi-weekly live stream and guided meditation here at the Blue Lotus Meditation and Mindfulness Center here in Brainerd, Minnesota. In tonight's topic, we'll be talking about the 10 non-virtues. When the Buddha talked about walking that Noble Eightfold Path, how we can better ourselves in our own lives and end that cycle of rebirth called samsara. We talked about, or he brought about, the 10 non-virtuous actions. And so tonight's discussion will be along those, talking about those actions and how we can really incorporate the generosity and kindness that we're all deserving of, not just towards ourselves, but towards others as well. And so as we begin, can start off with our wonderful guided meditation. So why don't you go ahead and get into a nice, comfortable position and in line and with the theme with tonight's talk, with the 10 non-virtues, our guided meditation is living virtuously. And so let's go ahead and begin by taking a moment or two and settling our bodies into a nice, comfortable position. You may close your eyes or keep them open slightly with a soft focus, just looking downward a few feet in front of you if you choose. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And as you sit there, you are warmly invited to allow a half smile to just rest on your face as well. Allow your spine to lift, your shoulders to soften. Soften your belly as you begin or continue to settle in. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. And let's meditate on living a virtuous life. The way we live has a direct effect on you and others. When I am kind, others respond kindly. When I speak kindly and not harshly towards others. When I speak truthfully, others are able to have trust in me. And when I speak with a purpose and not for idle gossip. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. When I act, my actions are for the benevolence or uplifting of others. I practice generosity with no expectation of a return. I give with compassion and love. I do not take the life of any sentient being, as doing so increases suffering for all. I live my life with virtue to ease the suffering of others and myself. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes slowly. And reorientate yourself to your surroundings before you decide to stand up if you choose to. Wonderful. It's one of my favorites. Meditations and talks to think about the virtues. They're really important to decreasing suffering for all other beings, not just ourselves, right? Not just for us, but for others. And that's why we walk that eightfold path, right? We live in accordance to that fourth noble truth, right? The Noble Eightfold Path. And the Buddha informs us about these and talks rather in-depthly about these 10 non-virtuous actions and how those actions perpetuate our suffering and suffering of others, and thereby keeping us in that state of samsara, right? Our cycles of rebirth, continued rebirth. And the 10 non-virtues are divided up into three groupings: the mind, the body, and speech. And so we'll talk about the mind first. And so for the first three non-virtues, and the first one being greed, right? Taking more than what we need. It's not just food, right, that we could be greedy with, but it could also be time, right? Taking someone else's time, right? People's time is valuable, just like your time is valuable. We have actions we need to do, right? We have responsibilities that, we must accomplish as well, right? We need to eat, we need to sleep, we need to take care of our bodies, right? And greed is certainly increases and perpetuates that suffering, right? When you want more, you strive for more. And sometimes the cost is very high. Not just to your own, but to, not just for your own well-being, but for others as well. I suppose you are really working hard at this job for a promotion. And maybe you do something a little unscrupulous. Or perhaps somebody has done something unscrupulous to you just so they could get that promotion. It can work both ways. How does that make you feel? Because somebody else's greed. Right? We are, what some may say, overachievers. Right? Working perhaps unnecessarily hard. Right? For maybe a percentage or two difference for maybe on a test or something. Right? That can hurt you by maybe it takes time away from your family. Maybe it takes time away from an activity that you do enjoy. And all for a percentage point more on a test that maybe no one will ever see. Kind of eats away at your mind, your well-being, certainly. I have to have more. Gotta have more. It's a very consumer-driven mindset that we have. And again, it's not just with financial. It can be with time. It can certainly be with food as well. Right? Maybe you are greedy with condiments. Right? Perhaps you are. Right? Those little ketchup packets that you get at the restaurant. Maybe you have a car full in your glove compartment just filled with ketchup packets that you're never going to use and just end up expiring. Maybe you smash one in there so that at some point and ketchup gets everywhere. And then you have to clean it up and you feel a little dissatisfaction that now you have to clean this up. So there's many different ways that greed can certainly infiltrate our mind. Another one would be harmful intent. Right? So second non-virtuous action, harmful intent, deliberately trying to hurt someone, whether it's their feelings, whether it's their physical body, wanting to cause a negative repercussion or a negative action or a situation for somebody else. Think about what that does to you. You have to take the time that you're planning something, right? You have to nurture those negative thoughts in your mind of how you are going to get back at someone for maybe something even small. for something that probably does not even matter by the time, 20 minutes rolls by, or an hour, or a day. But the thoughts that you have allowed to nurture inside you will last. They're hard to go away because you've become easy with it. You become content with, oh, I can do that. I can, have some insidious plan to hurt someone else. So harmful intent certainly is a non-virtuous action. And wrong view would be a third for the law of cause and effect, like we talked about last week, right? Or wrong view on the Four Noble Truths or the Eightfold Path, right? Denying them. Denying that, they're in the Eightfold Path, right? That right mindfulness could help you? No, it can. Absolutely. So that would be a wrong view, right? Certainly harmful intent, right, would be a wrong view, right? The law of cause and effect, wrong view. There's a third of that mind subset for the 10 non-virtuous actions. So now we move over to the body, right? The body subset for those non-virtuous actions. And there are 3 here as well: killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. Now we'll start with killing first. Most of us are not, right, going to deliberately try to, take the life of someone, right? That's probably a well established norm for most people. But killing isn't just for people, right? Right? It's any sentient being, right? It could be a rabbit, it could be a dove, a duck, a swan. Pretty much anything that runs away when you try to attack it is a sentient being. Right? If it's aware of itself, it's a sentient being. And by doing so, you are taking away from your sense of right and wrong. That being has enough or just the right amount of the right to life as you do. And I remember seeing some videos of people rescuing sea turtles, right? Or maybe they're not necessarily rescuing them, but pulling them up out of the ocean, and sometimes you get all those barnacles on them, right? I'm sure it's uncomfortable, but even scraping off those barnacles, they're sentient beings, right? They're going to be dying as well. And so killing, hundreds maybe, tens, dozens of those beings, even on the turtle shell, right? That's still killing. So we abstain from killing sentient beings. And certainly stealing as well, right? That would be the next stealing. Just not taking what's, not ours. Or more adeptly, taking what's not freely given to us. Right? It has to be freely given to you. This last slice of cake in the refrigerator, that's not for you. It's for me, but you take it anyway. Or maybe they just don't even say anything. Right? Maybe that piece of cake is just sitting in there and I'm going to take it anyway. It's not freely given to you. It hasn't been explicitly given to you. Say, hey, if you would like that last piece of cake, you're welcome to it. If it hasn't been, it's stealing. And sexual misconduct would be the last for the body, right? Abstaining or using sex as a weapon, right? Using sex to get what you want is certainly a non-virtuous action, right? Because that hurts two people as well. Not only does it take away from you, it also takes away from the other person. It takes away their well-being, takes away their value as well. Or withholding, right? You didn't take out the trash, right? Or I need rent money, something along those lines. That's certainly sexual misconduct as well. And then that brings us to the remaining four, which fall under speech, right? Lying, right? When we lie, and we certainly get caught sometimes, right? It takes away how someone may view us, our trustworthiness. And that's important, right? That's important too. So lying also, requires us to remember what it was, what that story was, right? Remember, you have to remember every lie and every story that goes with it. Whereas if you remember the truth, you only have to remember one. Divisive speech, right? And that's where that idle gossip kind of comes in, right? When we did that guided meditation a few moments ago. Right? Divisive speech. That's what gossip is. Right? When we talk about whoever that person is, towards others, how does that affect them? Most of the time, gossip is not even true. Certainly all of the time, it's quite frankly not our business. So staying away from it. So divisive speech, things, speaking that does not unite people together. Political parties, organizations that demand that or state that you are superior than someone else. That's certainly divisive. Something to not partake in. And harsh speech, right? Harsh speech. We often find humor in that sometimes, right? Putting someone down, right? Where is that uplifting? Calling someone out. And one of the biggest terms that, certainly floats around these days is the Karen, right? That's harsh. Calling someone, making a generalized statement about someone who is maybe having a hard time. Very often we don't know what is transpiring in someone else's day. And use yourself as an example. Do your friends and family and neighbors and coworkers, do they truly know when you are having a bad day or a good day? Or do you just smile and say, yeah, I'm okay? So harsh speech, right? Calling someone out, right? Putting them on blast, right? That's not a virtuous action. That's not uplifting. That's not unifying. And again, that pointless gossip, right? That water cooler talk. Again, most of that is probably not even true. And again, even if it isn't, even if it is true, it's really not our business what somebody else does very often. How does it impact you? Right? How does that impact you? But what's important to remember also is, and it kind of goes along with these intents or these non-virtuous actions, is the intent. Right? What is the intent of that particular action? Because a virtue and a non-virtuous action, they're really determined by the motivation behind them, right? Why are you doing those particular actions? So that means that, you could perhaps tell a lie with good intentions. Perhaps there's someone who is very angry, very, very angry about something. And maybe they misplaced their keys or something like that. And they ask, have you seen my keys? And you know where they are. And you know that it's probably not a good idea for them to drive. And maybe you say, I haven't seen your keys. Right? So intent is important as well. And like with the harsh speech, right? It may be true. It may be a true statement, what you're saying, right? So you wouldn't be lying, but it's harsh, right? There's other ways to make a statement that is unifying and uplifting and charitable and compassionate towards someone else. Very often we hear that term being, I'm real with someone. But is real really what you are? Because saying something harshly to hurt someone else's feelings, is that really you? How would you feel if someone were that harsh with you? We may say, oh, I can take it. I'm thick-skinned or something like that. But it hurts, even if it's true. So intent has a lot to do with the purpose. Of what we do. Very good. So thank you all for your kind attention this evening. Next Dharma talk will be on the 26th, and we kind of mentioned samsara in the beginning of our Dharma talk this evening, and so that's what on the 26th, December 26th, that's what our next topic will be, ending samsara, which is the path to liberation. And so absolutely join us. Set your reminders. Don't forget to like and subscribe and for these wonderful talks. And throughout the course of the week, you're also welcome to join us for any one of our weekly sanghas. And they're all free to register. Just register. That's all you got to do, right? Find one that fits you, whether it's the healing sangha or the veteran sangha, a new beginning sangha, or a rainbow sangha, or a teen sangha, whatever. All of them, one of them. You're absolutely welcome to sit with us and find that support that you may need. I'm there and others are there as well. And again, they're free. Just join us. All right. And with that, my friends, and until the 26th, I wish you all an evening of peace, ease, and well-being.